do you think this tape had a different impact this time? I know when I listen to it now, I have a different feeling. Before it was just shock. Now it's more a squeamishness at knowing what she was sucking him into, knowing it was a premeditated act of recording it to do some sort of blackmail. I mean, what do you think the jurors are thinking now?
Well, I think the defense wants the jurors to see another side of Travis Alexander, Dr. Drew, and I read a lot of the tweets and social media comments, and people continue to say, why is the defense re-victimizing the victim? And I know it's hard to hear this poor guy is dead, but the reality is that this is a self-defense case, and I've explained this on your show before. In order to prove self-defense, Jodi needs to prove that Travis Alexander was somebody that she feared. So the defense needs to, like, play these sex tapes. They need to show that he was possibly sexually abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive. If they portray him or concede that he's this great, lovable guy that would never harm a fly, then they wouldn't be able to prove self-defense.
I don't know, Karamo.
They have to do this.
I listen to these tapes, what I've heard of them, I don't see where he's being effective. What I hear is a manipulative, weird girl. Sort of, why did he even respond to that is more my question.
I agree with you 100%, Dr. Drew. I don't want to trash him. I mean, of course he played a part in this, but what he did was he just was being manipulated by this horrible, horrible woman. I would say this 100 times over. She's despicable. She's disgusting. And so what he did was he just was playing with fire and did not know that that fire was going to burn him and take his life. It's just ridiculous.
Now, Melissa, I've not heard your opinion yet, but I'm of the opinion that, yes, Jodi Arias had some psychiatric problems, and people with similar psychiatric problems are offended that she's in their camp, because even people with things like severe borderline personality disorder do not manipulate in this cold-blooded fashion, do not murder, they don't want to be associated with her. What do you say?
I think this has nothing to do with Jodi Arias' emotional state. Obviously, it is in her. She has emotional problems, self-control, impulse problems, but not enough that she didn't know right from wrong. And bottom line, premeditated. She is a cold-blooded killer. And as a longtime crime reporter who's covered various countless murder cases, I can tell you that one that sticks out, a husband actually murdered, dismembered, and boiled. He cooked his wife and was not sentenced to death. So I really don't think, especially with more, women on the jury this time, that she will get a death sentence. I think she'll get life in prison, and that's what she should get, in my opinion.
Does she give you any of a feeling, any instinct of any of these other horrible murderers you've seen?
I think, she has no remorse. I mean, I've been in the courtroom, especially on sentencing day, where the killer, is leering at me as a local reporter, and I think she has no remorse whatsoever. And I remember something that stood out in my mind where she said death to her is freedom. Let's not give her that. Let's lock her in a cage, and so she's trapped not only with her own horrible thoughts and regrets, but she's caged for the rest of her life, and let's take the control out of her. And, when it comes to Travis, she always wanted that sexual control over him.
She had it.
And when she started to lose the emotional control, that's when, she snapped.
Lost it.